Right. Yeah, I think we're ready to get started. So thank you everyone for joining. The name of this webinar is Better Together, and it's all about combining email and site optimization to maximize the conversions on your e-commerce site, and how those two work together, and strategies that you could use to enhance the synergy between the two and make sure that they're both supporting one another, and that they are working in tandem to the ultimate end goal of driving as many conversions as possible on your site and getting as many customers on your site as possible. With me today, I'm joined by two other great hosts. This is a joint production between Noticed, a Philly marketing agency that I work for, and Klaviyo, a email program that many of you probably use. My name's Chris Gordon. I'm a senior email marketing manager at Notice, and I'll also be your moderator today. And with me, I have Marina Shemchuk. Marina, if you could introduce yourself.
Yeah, thanks, Chris. Hi, everyone. I am the senior e-commerce strategist here at Noticed, and I've been a part of this really awesome team for about 2.5 years. My background is in web design, site optimization, e-commerce management, and I currently oversee optimization department and lead client strategy here.
Cool. And with me, I also have Ashley Gomes from Klaviyo. Ashley, if you could introduce yourself and tell us a bit about yourself.
Yeah, thanks so much, Chris. Happy to be here today. So I'm actually a senior channel customer success manager at Klaviyo. At Klaviyo, I support our partners, our largest agency partners, Notice obviously being one of them. I've been in the email marketing space for quite some time and really looking forward to today.
Awesome. So let's start off by talking about the customer journey. So when you think about a customer's ultimate guide to becoming a loyal repeat customer who loves your company and buys for the rest of their life, how does that happen? And what are the steps involved? Ashley, could you take us through the e-commerce sales funnel?
Yeah, absolutely. So when Notice and Klaviyo kind of got together, we condensed the e-com sales funnel into 5 different components. So first we have Attract. This is all about driving people to your site. So this could be through organic or paid social, SEO, paid media referrals, all that good stuff. Moving on, we have Convert. This is the stage where you get contacts to give you their email and additional information that can later be leveraged for interaction. You can do this through on-site forms, pop-ups, along with various other CTAs. Continuing to go down, we have Engage. So, continuing to remind these people why they visited you in the first place, all while learning more about that contact themselves. So here you could leverage automated email series where you can further collect custom properties about these new people. When we get to Sell, that's obviously about converting browsers to purchases. How do you do this? By serving them relevant content that will ultimately influence them to buy anywhere from, strategically segmenting a campaign to an abandoned cart flow. And then lastly, we have Connect. So once they're a customer, this is where you really strengthen your relationship and develop a loyal advocate of the brand. So you could leverage, a loyalty program or implement a post-purchase or really, any sort of upsell strategy. Overall, keeping in mind that the e-com funnel is truly cyclical in its cycle, and contacts actually have the ability to go through time and time again. So before I pass the torch over to Chris and Marina, I wanted to rewind for a minute and put an emphasis on the importance of converting. So the only way you start building a relationship is to convert a visitor into a contact. So a pretty compelling stat coming out of last Black Friday, Cyber Monday, is that almost 60% of Klaviyo's customers' sales came from contacts that had engaged with the brand prior. So this is obviously because these Klaviyo customers had already established a relationship with these folks, and the brand resonated amongst those consumers. So while website traffic is definitely a key component to revenue, relationship building is going to be key.
Awesome. So that's super important on the marketing end, getting those leads in, getting their contact information, and making it so that you can continue a conversation with them, an ongoing conversation. That's what email marketing basically is. You're able to update them, tell them about new products, et cetera, et cetera. But you're doing a great job with that. You're sending lots of emails, you're getting lots of engagement on them, and you're driving lots of traffic to your site. That doesn't mean anything if the site isn't doing its job. And what the site's job is to do is to convert the customer, make them into a paying customer. So that's all rolled up in this big umbrella topic called CRO. And Marina is a CRO expert. So Marina, could you take us through on a top level what CRO is?
Definitely. Whether you've been managing an e-commerce business for years or you're new to the game, you've probably heard the phrase conversion rate optimization, or CRO for short. So what is it and why does it really matter? Well, CRO is the practice of increasing percentage of site visitors that convert into customers. It is the process of enhancing website to not only increase sales, but also provide content that's relevant to your target audience. CRO begins by determining what drives people to your site and then finding out what makes them leave without making a purchase. And it is so much more than just increasing sales. It allows you to discover what works and what doesn't, and it really takes the guesswork out of predictable growth. A successful marketing strategy should always include CRO, like Chris mentioned, to ensure the traffic driven to the site by your marketing team becomes exponentially more valuable. For example, by testing different headlines, form placements, or incentives on your website email sign up, we're able to increase your subscriber list and maximize marketing efforts. Or by personalizing cross-sell section on the landing page, we're able to drastically increase your AOV, average order value, and your RPV, revenue per visitor. And in the next slide, we'll show you some live examples of CRO being used on our client sites. So the first one is Equal Exchange Coffee. And it shows a dynamic free shipping calculator that we've implemented on both desktop and mobile, on cart and mini cart pages. Implementing this feature helped us increase sites' average order by 15%. And the next example, we have Mascot, a luxury eyewear brand, also our client. And this example shows a product page call to action button with that choose lenses copy. And the reason why you see that specific copy is because we conducted a multivariant A/B test, and that version won against the variant, which was just an add to cart copy. The original had a 4.7 click-through rate, and this one won with 7.6. Next example, we have Ignite, a global lifestyle brand, also our client, and this shows a result of another great A/B test. And we wanted to see whether adding a quick view option to collection pages is going to increase conversion rate, and it did. It went up from 2.2% to 3.1%.
That's awesome. Yeah, Marina. So going on from there, so that's all stuff on the site. So let's say a customer is visiting your site for the first time. You obviously want to make sure that you capture their information so that you can continue that ongoing conversation. What are some of the ways that you could do that?
Yeah, of course. I mean, your website is where the majority of signups are happening, and increasing the number of opt-ins is critical success factor when it comes to marketing strategy and site's overall revenue goals. When you're building out an email pop-up, always make sure to include messaging that describes the value of your content and offers that subscriber-only incentive. One of the things that I like to test on the CRO side is a CTA, that call to action copy, because while some audiences respond better to a subscribe CTA, others might prefer something like join the club.
Cool. Yeah, looking over at the right here, we have an example. This is one of Noticed's clients, Comfort Up. They're an HVAC company. They sell air conditioners and heaters. So looking here, this pop-up is very straightforward in that it leads with the deal. So if you have a deal that you can offer in your welcome series, that is the number one thing that you should show people, because they're on your site, they are shopping. How do you get them to sign up for emails? One of the best ways is giving them a super clear reason, and that's to save on their order. So here, right up at the top, save $150. Great call out there. And then there's only one other thing that they ask besides their email address. If you can make it just their email address, go for that. Every other piece of information that you ask for is going to lower your conversion rate on this pop-up form. So you want to keep it very succinct, very to the point, and Comfort Up, it's essential though for Comfort Up that we find out if they're a homeowner, contractor, or hotel/building owner, because that will change the way we treat them as a subscriber fundamentally. So that's important for them. So that's the only other thing that they have on there besides their email address. And then it's all business from there. Put in your email address, subscribe, and then you'll get this coupon right away. And the other thing that you could do, so besides a pop-up, is building a landing page on your site. So you could build a landing page featuring a Klaviyo form, and I'll show you an example right here on the next slide. So this is an example from our client Ignite. They're a lifestyle CBD brand. And on this example, you could see that they're not only pushing those savings, but they're also signing this person up for a sweepstakes that's currently running. And it is currently running. So if you wanted to enter this sweepstakes, go for it. They're putting this on their social media to get new subscribers. And since it's a form and you have more of a thing that you're offering, you're signing them up for this raffle in this case, they felt comfortable with adding these extra fields. This is not like a pop-up where you're interrupting a shopping process. This is, they came here to sign up, to get that coupon in particular, or to sign up for this raffle. So you could feel more comfortable adding in a bit more information to collect from them there. So on the topic of Klaviyo forms, we have a person who's a Klaviyo expert here, obviously, Ashley Gomes, working with Klaviyo. So Ashley, if you could tell us about how you can execute on this literally within the Klaviyo platform.
Yeah, awesome. So the beauty of Klaviyo is that we have, an abundance of capabilities when it comes to the types of data points that you can actually acquire on forms. But Chris, as you mentioned, when you're initially wanting to acquire those email signups, some best practices would be to obviously, keep the data collection to a minimum and make sure that you're actually serving up these types of forms to specific segments. For example, you're only going to want to ask people that haven't submitted their email address to submit them on that initial form. And then in addition to that, one thing that may be important is understanding where your customers and new contacts are coming from, so you can actually leverage UTM parameters that will be able to identify acquisition source, which is definitely a good tip for maximizing those forms. All right, so here I think, let's jump back into the sales funnel journey. So next up, we have engagement. At this stage, we continue to interact and remind contacts why they visited your site in the first place. We also have an opportunity to learn more about these people. So when we talk about the continuation of interaction, we can accomplish this through email, right? With what we consider foundational automated email flows, such as a welcome series, abandoned cart flow, even an out of stock flow. So things that help boost overall engagement are personalized experiences, which you can deliver through, strategic segmentation. All of this ultimately is going to allow you to continue a relationship and acquire new information about these people.
Awesome. And yeah, in that engage step, so you've attracted them, you've converted them into a subscriber, and now you have to engage them. Tell them why they should shop with you. Give them a reason to shop with your brand. So let's go over how to build an actionable welcome series, because the welcome series is the first touch point for this customer. So how do you turn them into a loyal subscriber? And customer, number one is hook them. So when they filled out that pop-up, you made a promise to them. You offered them something, most likely. In this case, the welcome offer is $10. So this is one of our clients, Whimsy Rewards, women's fashion brand. They lead right off the bat, right up at top with that enjoy $10 off your next Whimsy order. They know that that's what you came to the site for, and therefore we want to give that to you right away to add as little friction to the first conversion as possible. Number two is tell your story. So tell them what makes you unique. This is an example from one of our clients, Layla Sleep, and it tells what makes Layla's products unique in the sleep product space. Copper infused foam, flippable firmness, a focus on pain relief. These are the things that Layla focuses on that makes them unique to other companies in this space. And then number three, you want to give them a reason to shop. So I have three examples here. this first one's from Whimsy Rose. It's customer reviews, just straight up customer quotes from customers who have been very happy. It helps build customer trust. They want to see that other people have bought from this thing. It's not some weird scam or something. And you want to build that trust up by showing how happy you've made other customers. Another is any call outs that you have in terms of free shipping, free returns. Show them how easy it is to shop with you. Tell them about how great your customer service is. Tell them about how great of an experience is end to end this is going to be. They're going to buy, and you're going to take care of them through the whole process. If there are any problems, you got their back. And then this last one is just building more customer trust with any press quotes you have. In addition to hearing from real people, what do experts think of your product? If you have that sort of collateral, definitely be sure to include it in your welcome series. There are 3 more steps. Number 4 is give them a way to shop. So with those first 3 steps, you've kind of hooked them. You gave them a coupon. You told them what makes you unique. You built up their trust. Now you have to give them a way to shop. And really, this should be a bunch of ways to shop. So here I have 2 examples. One of them is a category grid, breaking up your products into broad categories. This person is a new subscriber. You don't have any browsing data to go off of yet. You can't make too many in-depth decisions about what to show them. So you kind of have to just show a broad swath of your best offerings. In that recommended for you, that would be powered by like Klaviyo's, for example, product recommendation engine. You could show them the most popular products on the site. Number 5, pull them into your ecosystem. So you got them clicking around, you got them interested. Now you can continue this conversation in more ways than just email. You can pull them into your Facebook, your Instagram, your Twitter. This can also include a rewards program if you have it. And then number 6, all important, if none of that has done the job yet, can we bring up number 6 here? There we go. If none of that has done the job yet, if they've gone through these first 2 messages of your welcome series and still haven't converted, then you need to focus on driving urgency and closing that sale. This is a good example from JoeFit. They're an activewear women's brand. And it says right up top, last chance to claim your 15% offer. Let's close that sale and, begin this relationship as a paying customer who we can support and keep loyal to our brand as long as possible. And that brings us to the next stage in the e-commerce sales funnel. Ashley, will you tell us about the sell stage?
Yeah, of course. I know it's a stage that, is important to everyone, and we're definitely super invested in influencing this. So when we talk about the selling component of the funnel, this is where the compelling content and offerings that are featured in your emails prove to be influential enough for a purchase. So these emails come in the form of anything, from an abandonment flow to a subscription service offering. So at the sell stage, it's all about earning those email clicks and how those clicks will ultimately convert to customers. So how can we earn email clicks? A few suggestions would be lead first and foremost with your strongest CTA in a super prominent position. So from there, you can then support that with additional call outs that are compelling to the contacts that are receiving these emails. You're going to also want to provide a great user experience by providing easily shoppable product pages. And if you're able to tie all of these things in together in one, really cool theme, bonus points to you.
So let's look at an example of an email that does just that. If you've ever talked to me about email marketing, I'm sure you've heard me say the phrase widening the net. It's an important strategy that I always bring up because I feel like it always brings more success to campaigns when it's done. So this is an example of a campaign that successfully widened the net. So this is a Valentine's Day campaign sent out for our client Whimsy Rose, and it leads with a very open-ended call to Valentine's Day, love yourself, and create something that brings out the best in you. And then from there, as you scroll down the email, it gives you lots of different types of ways to do that. They're all related to Valentine's Day. They're all on topic, but there's a collection, pretty in pink and red. This is based on the color. colors related to Valentine's Day. And then maybe the customer doesn't like wearing pink or red, so it gives them the option to shop by customer favorites, falling for favorites, still on topic, still on brand for Valentine's Day. And then maybe this person isn't shopping for themselves at all, and they're trying to get a gift for someone for Valentine's Day. Well, nothing says love like the gift of creativity. And there's a call out for gift cards there. And then below all of that, down at the bottom, we have a dynamic product grid that shows the customer products that they would be most interested in based on Klaviyo's data-driven recommendations engine. Based on the things they browse, based on the things that they bought, these are the products that this particular customer would most likely be interested in. Cool. And that brings us to converting clicks to customers. So that email that we just looked at did a great job driving traffic to the site. But you can't buy something directly from an email. You need to go to the site to do it. So how do we turn those interested customers that have come to the site from our emails into paying customers? Marina, can you take us through that?
Yeah, of course. Well, whenever you're sending traffic to a specific page in your funnel, it's always a good idea to have it audited from a SEO perspective. The last thing you'd want is to invest into a huge marketing campaign that's driving visitors to a landing page only to have it not convert. So always begin by running heat maps on all key pages. This allows you to get insight into your customers' behavior. And heat maps are a great visual representation of sites' data. Always make sure to include social proof. This is especially valuable to your new visitors and those that haven't purchased yet, as it could play a key role in their decision making. Keep important content above the fold, meaning it should be visible without scrolling. And that goes for all of your important calls to actions as well. And include a cross-sell section in case your visitors do not find anything they like on that specific, let's say, collection page or landing page. They have other options and other products are being recommended. And test your load time. And this one is super important, and I can't stress it enough. As page load time goes up from 1 to just 5 seconds, the probability of a bounce increases to 90%. And of course, test to find out what works for your specific customer. One size almost never fits all.
Awesome. Brings us to the next stage, and actually the final stage in this stage of the e-commerce sales funnel. Ashley, could you take us through the connect stage?
Yeah, of course. So connecting is where you sustain these newly cultivated relationships with every intention of sending these consumers through that cyclical e-commerce funnel again and again. Right? So when you connect, you actually have the ability to develop that loyal advocate. Something like a post-purchase flow is a great example of how you could accomplish this, but even more so by leveraging, loyalty programs and subscription offerings. So Marina is going to shed some light into when and why you should consider a loyalty program.
Yeah. Previous one. Yep. Thanks, Elise. Well, if loyal repeat customers are a goal for your business, then you must consider a loyalty program. Why? Simple. Better customer retention. The primary goal of a loyalty program is to retain customers by incentivizing them to purchase more. It gives you increased sales because loyalty programs typically include that incentive to purchase. This increases the likelihood of your customer purchasing more and at a frequent rate. On average, we've seen loyalty programs increase sites' overall revenue by 20 to 25%, which is huge. And last but not least, just gives you better data. Loyalty programs allow you to collect and analyze customer data to improve site personalization and customer segmentation. And in the next slide, we have some customer examples implementing loyalty programs. So this first one is from Swanky Badger, a men's gift store, and it shows you a great example of how to use strategy to increase referrals by offering a free gift for a holiday. Our next example is Equal Exchange Coffee, and it shows you how to get your customers to sign up by proving to them the value of a point. Because at the end of the day, unless 500 points means something to your customer, they're not going to sign up for it. So this is a great way to show just what you can do with those points. And the last example is Ignite again, and It shows you how to add the level of gamification to your rewards program by showing your customers, various tiers they can unlock by purchasing more.
Awesome. So tying this back in once again to the better together concept, loyalty programs don't just work great on the site, they work great in your email program as well. So Ashley, could you take us through some of the ways that your loyalty program can be enhanced with email marketing?
Absolutely. So when you've influenced someone to join a loyalty program, leveraging email to enhance that experience is an awesome strategy. So you want to ensure from the get-go they have a clear understanding of what it means to be a part of the program, right? That starts in the form of a warm welcome followed by program details and an opportunity to earn points right off the bat. Send them shopping. So once points are earned, leveraging emails to let your customers know, how they're doing. You can showcase how many points or rewards are available for redemption, displaying cash value or current status of, an applicable tier, even include those shoppable products right in the content, enticing them to redeem once they have that context.
Cool. Let's go over some examples of that. So I have some examples here from Whimsy Rewards and Facestory. They're a company that sells face masks and beauty products. Looking on the left here, this is creating a welcome email for your loyalty program. And right off the bat, you could see the CTA is Earn Whimsy Rewards, inviting them to shop on the site and start earning those points. And if you look below that, built with dynamic content, that's why you're seeing that weird mumbo jumbo person lookup smile, all of that. That is a code that Klaviyo interprets to then show that person's personal point count at any given time. So they'll see how many Whimsy Rewards points they personally have, which is obviously a big thing. And it's great in the welcome email because it shows them that they start off with points. Whimsy Rose has a sign up bonus. So you start off with I think it's 300, 400 points right off the bat. So that obviously incentivizes them to get those extra 200, 100 points, because when you look at the next slice over here in the top right, it shows them 500 points is $10 off. You're almost there. You almost got $10 off right off the bat. And that's a great call out there. So yeah, obvious incentive to shop there. In the bottom right, you'll see an example from Facestory calling out the refer a friend. So this is a way to turn your customers into advocates and try to get their friends involved with this new brand that they found that they hopefully love so much. On to the next slide. There's also the idea of point count alerts. So you welcomed them. You told them exactly how the process works. You told them what the tiers are and everything. Now you have to keep on top of them about it and make sure that they're aware when they earn those points that they have points that are available to spend. So on the left, you'll see you have points to spend, showing their balance right below that dynamically. On the right, this Whimsy Rose example straight up calls out how much money they have to spend. Whimsy Roses works in tiers. So you earn this much, you get $10. You earn this much, you get $25. So we set up point alerts at each one of those tiers to let them know exactly how much money they can save right now if they spend these points, which is obviously a very strong call out. Cool. And on the topic of other ways you could do this, so loyalty programs are one way. If you have products that need to be bought, in certain timeframes, then you could set up a subscription for those products. Marina, could you tell us about how that works on the site?
Yeah, of course. Both loyalty and subscriptions, great strategy to boosting online sales. If you're in online retail, this is something you should consider. From Netflix to Amazon, businesses everywhere are using subscription-based models to drive that recurring revenue and just build longer lasting relationships with their customers. Boosting your retention rate just 5% can increase your overall revenue from 15 to 95%. So get your customers to opt in to subscription services by just making it easy and convenient to them. We always want to take the thinking out of it. Your subscription model should focus on fewer consumer choices and just easier decision making. You don't want to overwhelm your customers with too many choices or complicated selection making. A great example of a successful subscription program is Subscribe and Save by Amazon, which I'm sure most of us have used. And it offers their customers 15% off if they opt in to subscribe instead of just making a single purchase. And passing it on to Ashley for some best practices.
Yeah, of course. So, offering a subscription in order to influence a repeat purchase is obviously key. So when we leverage Klaviyo actually has a really cool feature coming out of our data science team where you can predict the date of next order and then trigger an email based off of that date. You could also leverage an API based on your integration to trigger an email alert, once something is shipped and en route to a customer. You also have the ability to send transactional emails out of Klaviyo for, when customers confirm or cancel subscription as well. All good ways to kind of leverage email.
Cool. And here's an example of us doing just that with, once again, Ignite as the example. We set up I don't know if it has an official name. It's kind of a newer kind of idea, but we called it a subscription encouragement flow, which is essentially we set it up on the back end in Klaviyo to check if a customer has bought from a certain category multiple times within a certain time frame. So they've made purchases in the rechargeable vape category, 2 within the past 3 months, for example. That would make that customer a very good candidate for a subscription. And with Ignite's subscription model, they have savings that go along with that. So you've bought this thing 2-3 times in the past 3 months. It's a no-brainer for you to just set up this subscription and save with it. So that's the purpose here. That rechargeable vape category call out at the top is dynamic based upon what category it is that they're interested in. They also have disposable vape. They also have gummies, etc. Shows the product that it is that they have so much interest in and keep buying. And then really clear subscribe and save CTA down at the bottom. And, that's reiterated in the subject line as well. This is obviously a customer who's loyal at this point. We're just trying to make them super loyal with the subscription and also giving them an opportunity to save. Cool. So that's the overall gist of the things that we wanted to talk about today. So let's bring it all together with some final takeaways. So I'll start off with just saying first impressions count. So make sure your website is set up to capture emails and then follow through with a strong welcome series by hooking the subscriber, giving them ways to shop, giving them reasons to shop, and making sure that you close strong with a drive of urgency. If they haven't purchased by that third message in the welcome series, then you want to kind of get them while they're still hot before they lose interest in your brand. So make sure that welcome series captures that entire customer journey from someone who's kind of like, what's this brand? Am I interested in this? Do I want to buy this? To, oh, they're cool. Let me shop. And then giving them different ways to do that and, finally closing that sale, hopefully.
Yeah, and the traffic that you drive to your website is only as good as the dollars that are spent. That's why having strong email and website synchrony is really important. Successful marketing campaigns should always include CRO because as marketing is focused to driving visitors to your website, CRO is focused on converting those visitors into customers.
Awesome. And just to kind of wrap things up, we've referred to the e-commerce sales funnel today as being very cyclical. The objective is really to get these consumers to funnel through that over and over and over again. So, while it's important to attract people to your site, how you treat them on that journey through the funnel process is really what's going to matter.
Awesome. Thank you guys so much. We do have time for Q&A. Elise, if you could let us know what some of the questions that have been asked are.
Sure. So one of the first audience questions we have gotten is someone asking if asking for a customer's mobile number is more or less effective than email.
Yeah, so that's something that we've been working with a lot lately. SMS marketing has really caught fire this year, and it's becoming, more and more of a normal thing that every brand should have. Really, I think it'll be just as commonplace as email marketing very soon. And my answer to that, as of right now, is I think email is more important to capture upfront because it's much easier to get a customer's phone number through email marketing than it is to get a customer's email address through SMS marketing. There are multiple ways that once they are an email subscriber, you could then convert them into also being an SMS subscriber. You could put a dynamic slice in your footer that only shows the customers who haven't signed up for SMS yet, so you're not annoying the people who have already. But you could put that in there and have the SMS welcome offer right in there, at the bottom of every one of their emails. Until they sign up, they're seeing, I could save 15% if I just sign up for text messages. Kind of makes it a no-brainer. And two, you could send dedicated campaigns to the entire list, excluding the people who signed up already, of course, but dedicated campaigns to your entire list, inviting them to join your SMS and giving them, letting them know that SMS welcome offer is sitting there and waiting for them if they want to take advantage of it.
Yeah, and from the CRO side, we definitely have started implementing the SMS and email marketing campaigns together on site. So when it comes to your pop-ups, when it comes to your forms, or whether it's during checkout or during the account creation, we highly recommend including both fields to make sure that we just capture every opportunity to keep that relationship going with your customers.
We have some questions as well about loyalty programs. Someone is asking if we can recommend a particular vendor that we work with.
Sure. So for loyalty, I can begin, Chris, and then you can take it from there. We work with a couple great programs, which is Smile.io and also Swell Rewards. And, it's both of them have the same goal of just making sure you're retaining your customers, but it's slightly different features, and those depend on your business goals and, what specifically is more important to you. So I highly recommend looking into either one of those.
Yeah, and Marina, if I can jump in too from a Klaviyo perspective. So you obviously named a few. So we have FriendBuy, Loyalty Line, Smile, Swell. One of the beauties of Klaviyo is that we have like these one-click integrations with a ton of loyalty and rewards folks out there. And we even have some like pre-built automated flows. So really leveraging those integrations. I know within the Klaviyo platform, it's an awesome tool and resource to totally have, and would encourage anyone that's on Klaviyo to definitely check them out.
All right. Just a quick reminder that anyone who has questions can just drop them right into the chat, and we'll be reading them aloud. We have someone interested in the ROI of subscription services. I guess just looking for a little more data.
You know what? I think that's probably a good takeaway. Off the top of our heads, I'm not sure if we incorporated anything into the deck. I do know that going to Klaviyo, we've had a couple of featured blog posts that definitely have these types of information. But, I'm happy, and even the Notice team, we can kind of take that as a takeaway and see what we can kind of pull up.
Marina, could you talk a little bit more about heat maps as part of your CRO strategy, and a little bit of an overview about what that is and how it helps?
Yeah, of course. So we typically work with Hotjar, which allows us to capture heat maps and record user sessions. And of course, the goal is to understand how the most valuable space on a page is being used and if it's being used. So let's say you have a long homepage and you're thinking that you've added all these great things and blocks and content sections to it, but then we run a heat map and we see that actually most of your customers are dropping off somewhere just below the fold and aren't even seeing those sections that you feel like should be so important and visible. So it kind of allows us to gather data based on clicks and interactions with any page, just to make sure we're providing guidance into what should go above, what should go a little lower, what should be replaced, what are people not finding useful, and it's just there taking a super valuable real estate. So that's the great benefit of heat maps, and we typically do these for all of our clients, and I highly recommend for anyone.
All right. We have another question about tips for writing actionable subject lines or effective subject lines in your emails.
Yeah, so we've been doing a lot of testing around that, and every brand is different. So it's hard to nail down because for some brands, and this was a thing that I thought was true across all brands, is emojis in your subject line almost always increase open rate, but it's not the case with every brand. We've seen brands where they consistently decrease the open rate. So the answer is it's different for every brand, and you need to find out how your customers relate to it. Some brands, work better with more straightforward, like save up to 50% in our Memorial Day sale, and others are more like, American flag emoji, celebrate this Memorial Day day off with some shopping. And for some brands, that second one would win by a landslide, and for some brands, that first subject line would win by a landslide. So it's all about testing, and it's very easy to test subject lines in Klaviyo. So I'd recommend, testing a couple of different approaches. Ask questions, include emojis, don't include emojis, make more witty, kind of fun subject lines versus more matter of fact, this is what you could save, this is what we're featuring subject lines, and see what works for your brand.
All right, we have another question on SEO versus CRO, and whether we can recommend anyone for SEO services.
Well, huge difference between both. SEO is the search engine optimization. CRO is conversion rate optimization. So while SEO is focused more on your keywords and rankings, that data to get your site higher up in search results, CRO is the work that happens on the site to convert those current visitors. So very different goals. And I mean, of course, as all of the e-commerce services, they always somewhat work together to make sure that this is producing the greater results. But just a very, very, very different service. We do both of those, mostly CRO within Noticed. We'd be happy to chat after if someone's looking for a more personal recommendation that fits their business.
Okay. That might be all we have in the chat.
I see some in the Q&A feature.
Okay, yep, I'm trying to get to them. Sorry, guys, we're having some technical difficulties.
I can actually read that question if you.
Great, thank you.
One of us can do this. There's a question about what is the acceptable amount of questions to ask within an email address submission form. Chris, if you want to take it, so I can take this, doesn't matter.
Sure, yeah. So it's really just the minimum. As few questions as you can ask, while still getting the necessary information, is always my recommendation there. For the example that we looked at within the presentation, for that brand, Comfort Up, it was very, very important that we find out what kind of buyer they are, because we have different versions of the welcome series set up for each kind of buyer. Are you buying for your home? Are you a contractor, etc.? That changes completely how we'll treat you right off the bat. So it's important that you get that at the first stage there. But generally the rule is the more you ask for, the less signups you're going to get. So if you could just keep it to the email address, that's awesome. If you want to include first name, if you use that in your messaging or your copy, then that's a pretty common one as well. But besides that, maybe one or two other essential pieces of information. And keep it at that. Then down the line, you can request more information using your email marketing, using your social channels. You could send them to landing pages that have Klaviyo forms embedded that asks for more information down the line. If you want to, do a survey and find out what color they like the most, etc. But yeah, I'd keep it minimum so that you could get their email and then collect the rest of that stuff down the line.
We had a really quick question about whether we'll be sending out the recording of this presentation, and we will. You should be receiving it this afternoon.
Cool. I see a question here about browse abandonment. How do you use it most effectively? Ashley, if you want to take that one.
Yeah, so it looks like James has said, we've tried in the past, but it's tough to get much data, harder to get the abandoned cart. So I think, from a Klaviyo perspective, when we consider those foundational flows that we talked about, browse abandonment and cart abandonment are both included in those. I think, ultimately you should be running both. If you're not, you're leaving revenue on the table. But when it comes to browse abandonment, it all is really contingent on that data that you're capturing. So it's like, well, it's very simple to, see that someone has left something in their cart. For browse abandonment, you can take things into consideration, like did they have a product page view, product detail view? And if you're sending those metrics in, triggering a browse abandonment off of that should work pretty successfully. Notice team, I'm not sure if you want to, either echo or chime in on either or in the, success you've seen with both.
Yeah.
I mean,
sorry, go ahead, Marina.
I'll just take it from the website and the front end, and then Chris, you can take it from your perspective. So when we see, let's say that there's this very high browse abandonment on a specific page or any place in a funnel, we can approach it with different strategies. We usually do an exit intent. So if we notice that there's specific place where everyone's just leaving, then we can do an exit intent and kind of try to get them, either get their email at least to have that relationship continue, or offer them something to hopefully make sure they stay and just check out as they should.
Yeah. On the topic of, kind of enhancing your browse abandonment and cart abandonment strategy, I wish I could show you the examples right now, but I didn't include them in the deck. But for our client Layla Sleep, I mentioned them a few times throughout the presentation, but they sell sleeping stuff. They sell mattresses, they sell sheets, they sell blankets, and they sell pillows. But really, that's it. They have like 4, 5, 6 different types of products. So with that, we could get really in depth with how we treat these products. So if they abandon the cart with one of the mattresses, for example, those are their flagship products. That's what people come to Layla for the most part. The others are add-ons. We built a particular abandoned cart series for each one of their mattresses. So if you abandon the memory foam mattress in your cart, you're going to get an abandoned cart email that isn't just, hey, you abandoned your cart, picture of the mattress, finish your purchase. You're going to get, it has lifestyle images of that product being used. It has press call outs of reviews of that particular product being used that you abandoned. It has customer reviews embedded within of that particular product. And we built that out for the other one, the hybrid as well. So if you have a ton of products on your site, an approach like that might not be feasible, but you could think about it from a category point of view. So you could build out an abandoned cart or abandoned browse series that's specific to this category, or what have you. You can drill down based on the data that you have right off of that event. Every abandoned cart event tells you what category and product was abandoned. Every abandoned browse event does the same thing. Take advantage of that data and that information and use it to build very specific, personalized abandoned email flows. Cool. Any other questions?
I think one more may have just come in.
So browse abandonment flow within Klaviyo, how do you feed it sufficient data? So I'm not sure what data you're looking for in particular, but based upon the trigger data that you get from that, so that metric contains sub data within it. It's not just this person abandoned a product, it's they abandoned browse this product in this category at this time. So you have all that data to work with, and you can build out a strategy from there based on that, is kind of what I was getting at.
Yeah, and I would say that, if you're curious about more, or if you think it may not be working properly, we have a phenomenal support team at Klaviyo. I would totally encourage you to reach out to them, and they would be happy to take a look at it.
Cool. Is that everything?
Sounds like it.
Awesome. Well, thank you guys so much for joining us. I want to thank Ashley and Marina for joining me today, and Elise for pulling things through on the back end for us. Really appreciate it, guys. If you have any more questions, feel free to contact Klaviyo support if you're a Klaviyo subscriber and you want to get in depth with that. Like Ashley just said, they're awesome, and they'll give you answers that are from specific product experts on their team. And from us, if you have any questions, feel free to email us at biz@notice.com. If you haven't picked up on it, we're kind of nerds about this stuff. So we'd love to talk shop with you guys. If you have any questions, feel free to contact, and hope to hear from you soon.
Yeah, thanks everyone.
This was great. Thanks so much, everyone.
Thank you.